All right, guys. So I wanted to do a recording to just say hello and do a little orientation on this class page. So this is the full session AMP1 that is online, entirely online for the lecture portion of the class. The lab is also online too, but this video is just going to cover the lecture class. So let's get down to it. I'm going to go over the homepage and just show you a little bit around expectations, all that good stuff, syllabus, all that stuff. So we got the welcome announcements. The announcements are on the far left. So you can read all these good things. It's got the links to the syllabus. It's got the links to the syllabus quiz. So everybody needs to do the syllabus quiz before Friday at midnight, please. Make sure that you do that so you can stay enrolled in this class. Is the mandatory syllabus quiz. We're also going to cover the first chapter of information this week as well. So we are going to have chapter one's content is also going to be due. Um, no, I take that back. It's not due on Friday. For y'all, it's due on Monday. It's due on Monday for y'all. But it'll be coming up soon. So you can always do things ahead of time in class. Time management is absolutely key in an online class. I know many of y'all are probably in the same situation I am. I work full time. I'm also a grad student at Valdosta getting my doctorate, so I understand about time management. I'm also married and I've got three teenagers right now, and it is busy and crazy. And so trying to squeeze in time for school is important. So please do try and use all the tools that I'm giving you to do the best in class. And one of the tools that I love to give y'all is just organization and knowing when things are due. So I have the calendar smack dab in the middle of the homepage, so you cannot miss things. Um, so that's there. I have all the quizzes and things are in there. The content browser widget is really sad and pathetic, and we're not going to go there because it's sad and useless. But we'll come up to the tabs here. So we got the homepage. Let's click on the syllabus and open that guy up. And on the syllabus, it's going to start off with the course description, all that good stuff. It's AP1. You can get my contact information is here. So email, the Highlands email is always my preferred email. And let me tell you why. Because that email comes to my phone. It goes to my phone and I know that you emailed me. And I can respond to it when I can. But if you email me in D2L, which I do check. But if you email me in D2L and say like you email me on a Friday night and I won't know that you emailed me unless I'm logged in myself. Um, so I might have stuff going on Friday night, and I might not see it. I might not log in until like Sunday, and I didn't know that you emailed me on Friday. So if you really need me, in a hurry, the Highlands email that goes to Outlook is my favorite. But I do check the D2L email as well. This is my office phone. That you can leave a voicemail to. I'm in my office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I teach face to face. Bio 2 for majors on Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Cartersville campus. So I have face-to-face office hours there, and then the rest of my office hours are online. So these are my online office hours that I've set, but I know a lot of y'all are also working and doing school and all of that good stuff, and this time might not work for you. So if not, just let me know and we'll schedule something. If you would like to meet to go over whatever preparation for the exam, um, going over an exam, going over your missed questions, advising questions, whatever it is. If you want to book a time to meet, please click the link that will lock in your time to meet with me because I do have other students that will try and book times for advising, and I want to make y'all my priority. So please do book that time and lock it in, and we will meet either face to face at Cartersville or we can meet online during those hours or we can meet online during a different hour. Just let me know. I try to respond communication within 24 hours. Um, is when I try to get back to you during the week. But like I said, I am it's busy. It's busy, and I know y'all are busy too. So on the weekend it'll be a little longer. It'll be a little longer, so closer to 48 hours on the weekend versus during the weekdays. The textbook for this class is the Anatomy and Physiology, and it used to be a gray book with orange letters, but now the second edition is an orange book with gray letters, and it's two volumes instead of one big thick volume, and it kind of splits between AP1 and AP2 on the paperback version. But you can get the um, electronic version for free. So you can go to the link and you download the PDF. And I always suggest people get copies of their PDFs of their textbooks just for reference. Another thing that I also suggest to my students too, any student in any class, download your syllabus. keep a copy of your syllabus, because trust me, there will be a time when you can't remember exactly what that course went over. Or maybe you're transferring schools and they're trying to do equivalency and you're fighting that this class is equivalent to that class, but you don't have the syllabus to back it up. Download your syllabus. So let me show you where to do that really quick. Go to the print button, and you don't have to print. But if you look, there's the download button right there. Download this file. Do that. Do that for all your classes. So you will have a copy of this syllabus. So just in case you need it in the future, it's there. Okay, more stuff on the syllabus. Communication, the textbook. The textbook is embedded into the content of the course, which we're going to go over later. So don't stress too much about, getting your copy of the textbook. But if you personally want a copy, do it. It's right there. You can click the link. We also have a LibGuide that also has extra help on there. And I also tagged the Student Success Center for academic success. So if anybody needs tutoring, this is a difficult class. It is a difficult class. I'm not that professor that likes to scare people, but I do like to set expectations. And this class compared to some of my other classes is not one that you can wait until the night before to study. You absolutely 100% cannot wait until the night before to study for this class. You are going to need to dedicate time for anatomy and physiology. There's a lot of memorization. There's a lot of studying going on in this class. So please carve out time every day if you can, or at least, every other day, carve out time for this class. You are going to need it to be the most successful that you can in this class. But one of those things that I always like to tell people about is the Student Success Center that we have on campus. We have face-to-face tutoring, and they just partnered up with tutor.com, so you can get tutoring 24/7. And they do have tutoring. I looked specifically for anatomy and physiology on tutor.com, and they have it. They have it. So those are all free resources. I myself used the student services as an undergrad because Calculus 3 and Organic Chemistry 2 were really hard for me. So please don't be afraid to reach out for student success services. Use the tutoring center. It's all free. The writing center is free, all of that. Your tuition's already paying for it. So why not use it? So that's a link there to that. We got the CLOs, all the good stuff that the course is going to cover. Attendance, you got to log in. You got to do your work. We have the mandatory syllabus quiz that's going to be due on Friday. Friday is the last day for add drop too. So I think both my 8-week and my 16-week, are both maxed out in full. So most of y'all are not going anywhere. So please, sometime this week, log in and complete that syllabus quiz before Friday, the 16th at midnight. I have everything due at midnight in this class. That is my cutoff time for things. So please log in. Please get your work done. We have a 10-point grading scale at GHC, so you can see those there. I also have a policy. I know AP1 is super competitive. I have got my nursing students, I got my dental hygiene students in this class, and everybody is competing to try and get those slots in nursing school and dental hygiene school. So um, I don't uh, do any sort of grade inflation or anything like that. But I do have a little bitty nugget of where if you are within 1 point of the next grade level, I will round you up. But it has to be within 1 point, just 1 point, not 2 points, just one. So if you are, like a 79.2, if you're a 79.2, I'm gonna round you up. I'm gonna round you up to that B. But if you're a 78, you're gonna stay there at a C. If you're an 88, you're gonna stay at a B. So that's my line in the sand. I do try to help you out a little bit if I can, but that's it. So that's how grading is. How do you get that A in this class? So we've got 16 chapters that we're covering in this textbook for this class. So there's 16 chapters. I divide each exam up. It's covering 4 chapters. And every chapter has the lecture content, and then you'll have a lecture quiz for each chapter. So there's 16. I take your best 14 quizzes. I drop your lowest 2. And then those individual quizzes, those are all going to count for 20% of your grade. Then before each exam, we cover lots of different topics in the chapters. So I have a discussion section set up where you can pick whatever topic you thought was really great. And we've got details in there on the discussions on what to do for those. But I have one for each exam. So there's 4 of those. They're 10 points each. And they will count for 15% of your grade. So don't sleep on the discussions. Make sure you get those discussion posts done for each one. Because they're 15% total of your course grade. Then we got the lecture exams. The lecture exams are 100 questions, 1 point apiece. They won't show up as 100 questions individually in Respondus when you log in there though, because the matching consolidates into like one question, but it counts, every answer counts for a point. So it'll still be 100 questions. It'll be 100 points for each test. I do matching and multiple choice, are most of the questions that I have on lecture exams. And so each one of those is 10% of your grade for a total of 40% for the 4 different tests that we have in here. Then we got a final exam. So I told you each test has 100 questions on each individual test. The final exam is comprehensive and it's 150 questions, but you do get more time per question on the exam. So on a normal lecture test, I treat y'all the same as I do my face-to-face classes. And y'all will get 75%, 75%. Y'all will get 75 minutes to complete the test, just like you would in a face-to-face class environment. So there's 75 minutes to do your test. I do monitor y'all just like I would in a face-to-face environment too. So you will need to do Respondus Lockdown Browser Monitor for your syllabus quiz, and you'll also use that same software for each exam. So you will, take your laptop, your camera and scan your environment. I want to see all around you, top, bottom. Um, and also, when you're doing your environmental scans, some of my students, online and face-to-face, my face-to-face students do this too. They want a scrap piece of paper. So if you need a scrap piece of paper, I'm okay with that, but it needs to be white, just a blank white sheet of paper. There's no notes, there's nothing else that is allowed on the test. So please just, just a white piece of paper, blank piece of paper, and show it to me on your environmental scan. And then it's just a piece of paper, your pen or pencil, and your computer, and that is it. That's the only thing that should be on your desk in your environment when you're taking this test. And it does record you. So please wear, appropriate stuff. Cover up. Try not to eat or drink. Treat this like you would, a normal classroom environment, where I would be sitting there watching you anyway. Um, so yeah, that's how that's going to work. I will watch you take the test. I do want you to, be looking at the computer face forward. Don't, I don't want to see you like looking off to the side or like down or, look at the computer. If I see you looking to the side or down or around, I'm wondering what you're looking at, and that's going to make me wonder if you're cheating. And I don't want anybody to be cheating in my class. So you do get a warning. If I see something suspicious, I'll, let you know and email you. And then the next time I see the same suspicious activity happening, you're going to the judicial system. I'm going to turn you in for cheating. So I don't like to do that. Please don't make me do that. But I will do it, and I have done it in the past. So please just don't do it. Just don't do it. Study. You got this. You have lots of tools, and I'm going to show you all the tools that you have to be successful in this class. You can do it. But that's how tests are going to be. Tests are going to use the Respondus Lockdown Browser, and there's 100 questions on each individual exam, and then the final exam will be 150 questions. Lecture quizzes are not using Respondus. They don't use that. Discussion posts are not going to use Respondus, but the final and the individual exams do. I usually don't take late work. So if unless you've got extenuating circumstances, you might get a zero. You will get a zero for that chapter quiz that you forgot about or whatever it was. Um, so unless there's extenuating circumstances, like I'll let you make up a test. Like I was in the hospital or I got in a car accident, and here's my documentation. Then yeah, we can definitely make that work for you. I do allow for one makeup a semester, so we can make that happen. But if you miss a quiz, you miss the quiz for that chapter. So we got the schedule here. And you can see I've got all the good stuff here. At least I try to. Attendance quiz is due on Friday. And then for y'all, I have for my full semester class, everything's due on Monday. For y'all, except for Labor Day. We obviously I'm not making you have stuff due on a holiday, so it's on Tuesday. But everything else is on Mondays, except wait a minute. That's also a Monday. It just says Friday. There, I will fix that. But everything's due on Monday, and you can see the different things that are due. We are going to have the attendance quiz due on Friday, and then the next week on Monday we will have chapter 1 and chapter 2. So please start going over that material now. Go over that material now. So you'll be able to take those quizzes on Monday. And if you want to take a quiz early, you can take a quiz early. You don't have to wait until the day it's due. Please don't wait until the last minute to log in and do your quizzes and your exams. Stuff happens. Internet goes down. Technology decides not to work that day. So please don't wait until the last minute. If something happens technology-wise, let me know as soon as possible. Try and click all the links that I've got up above about, going to IT at Highlands or going to Respondus's website. They can walk you through that stuff. If you need a loaner device because maybe you don't have Respondus on your device or your device just doesn't work well with Respondus, come to the Cartersville campus. I'm there every Tuesday, Thursday. If you come to the Cartersville campus and you go to the library, they have loaner laptops. They have loaner laptops. So those laptops have Respondus, and you can borrow one of those and knock out your mandatory attendance quiz or knock out your exam when the window is open for the exam and take it that way. So if something happens, you have a backup plan. You can come to campus and use one of the loaner laptops, assuming that they have availability in Cartersville. But please don't wait till the last minute to take your stuff. So this is the schedule for all the things. What else do we have? More stuff, but these dates never match up. Here are the tech specs I was telling you about. These are the specs for the Respondus lockdown browser monitor. These are the exam policies. Again, I was telling y'all 75 minutes to complete it. You can't use anything to help you. That would be construed as cheating, and we don't want that. Please make sure you are looking straight ahead at the camera while you are doing your exams. Everything is graded electronically on the lab work, which is this lecture, so we are good to go. But on the lab, when we have fill in the blank stuff, that will take a little bit longer because I have to regrade those manually. But all of the things in lecture here are fine. Again, if you have a documented excuse for missing an exam, talk to me. Talk to me. We'll fix it. Because you get one makeup. Other dates and super duper important links are at the very bottom for all the things. So that is the syllabus. This out of the way. All right, so back to the class. Let's go to the content section. So we've got the Welcome to Anatomy and Physiology webpage here, and I give everybody the same tools, whether you're in lecture, whether you're in lab, whether you're in anatomy, whether you're in my major's bio. I'm going to give everybody the same set of tools because I feel like different people learn differently, and some things work for certain classes better than others. So I try and give you lots of different tips and tricks in here. I do have the link for the syllabus again in here. But different people learn different. And so, like, if I'm in a face-to-face environment, for example, so if I was one of my students in my Tuesday, Thursday class, I record lectures. And then I listen to them later. So, like, if I'm stuck in traffic or whatever, I'll listen to them later. I will take notes of class, and then later I'll go home and I'll take that recording and I'll play it aloud and I'll go back and rewrite my notes and catch up on anything that I missed. We do a lot of memorization in this class, a lot for AP1, especially in the lab when we get to bone markings and muscles, all of that good stuff is a lot of memorization. So if you want to utilize flashcards, if you want to utilize Quizlet, that kind of stuff, do it. If you work well studying out loud, some of my students, even if they're online, will form a study group, like a group me or something like that, and they'll get together in person. If you want to get together in person, we have rooms in the STEAM building in the bottom that you can absolutely do that whenever the building's open. Also in the STEAM building, just so y'all know, there is a STEM room in the STEAM building. It's on the second floor. And it's kind of in the middle of the building at the end of the hall, but we have anatomy and physiology models in there. We've got some of the models for AP1 and AP2 in there. We've also got a full skeleton in there. So when y'all are like, I'd really love to get my hands on, those bones and turn around and look at them, because that's one of my favorite things about anatomy and physiology 1 is to get your hands on those skeletons. So if you want to do that, come to campus, come to the Cartersville campus. That STEM room is open whenever the building is open. So if GHC is open, you should be able to have access to that STEM room and at least be able to go in there and see the skeleton and any other models that we've got in there. So if you want to get together as a group, study out loud, teacher friends, that will definitely help. So everybody works a little bit differently, but I just like to give you lots of different tips and tricks. The last thing on here is the Bloom's taxonomy. So the way the exams go, will I have the remember kind of questions where it's just, regurgitate this term? Yes, absolutely. I will have some of those, but I also will have some of the trickier ones where you need to analyze the data and, solve a problem. So patient comes in with XYZ, and you need to figure out what the answer is. So there will be some more critical thinking, analyze type questions in there too. It's a mixed bag. We will have different ones within here, but they will all be matching multiple choice on the lecture exams. Oh, excuse me, sorry. And again, the link to set up if you want to book a time that we could meet and go over stuff, we could absolutely do that. So that is the welcome page. Then we've got the schedule, because again, I want y'all to know when things are due, so this is all here on the schedule. And then let's go to the content. Right, so I broke down the content. Remember, I was telling you there's 16 chapters, and I broke them down into each exam, and each exam has the 4 chapters. So when you click on a chapter, it's an order of priority, an order of importance. So the textbook chapter, I told y'all not to stress about going and getting the textbook. It's built into the class. Here it is. It's the very top. It's the backbone. The most important thing is the textbook chapter. So it's at the very top. Then myself and some colleagues, we created chapter outlines. So those are the boiled down most important things out of the chapter are in the chapter outline. So use them, love them. They're great. They've got boldface terms in there. They're awesome. If something doesn't make sense in the chapter outlines, go back to the textbook chapter. If it still doesn't make sense, email me, or set up a Zoom, not a Zoom, a Teams meeting, and we can talk about it. But yeah, we've got chapter outlines, the textbook chapter itself. Then for lecture, I always give y'all my PowerPoints. Even if I was, face-to-face environment, I'd still give you my PowerPoints, because the PowerPoints, sometimes I have them linked to websites, I have them linked to videos, and I want you to have those resources too. So I put the PowerPoints in here. And then I've got some lecture videos. I recorded disclosure. I recorded these during COVID. So they're older, but they're still great lectures. They're still great lectures. They just may be a little dated, but they're still really good lectures. So they're, me chatting at you, going through the PowerPoints like I would in a face-to-face environment. I've just recorded it like I am right now. So we got the video lectures that are in here. So these are all the chapter 1 video lectures. And then near the bottom, I've got a study guide. So every single chapter has a study guide. It's going to have vocabulary terms, and it's going to have questions that cover important themes, content from each chapter in there. So don't focus all on the vocabulary terms and miss the questions at the bottom. Both are important. Both are important. Then we got practice quizzes. I don't give you all the answers to the practice quizzes because some of the faculty at GHC use these as graded items. So practice quizzes are really good. I think they're helpful. They are helpful for vocabulary terms to test your knowledge on vocabulary terms. So if you're doing the practice quizzes and you're like, I'd really like to know if my answers are correct, email me, and I'll let you know which ones are right and which ones are wrong. So we got practice quizzes for every chapter. And then if there was like extra videos that I thought were applicable to a chapter, I've got them at the very bottom. So these are kind of like the least important stuff at the very bottom, and then the most important stuff's at the very top. And every chapter is done this way. Yeah, so that's all the content. So if you ever need to jump to a quiz or a discussion or something like that, because we have discussion posts, those are here. We got the quizzes here. The communication is here with the communication tabs, or you can email myself, you can email the whole class if you need to. For grades, it's the breakdown on grades. Let's go to manage grades. So you can see lecture quizzes are here. The discussion posts for the 4 different exam discussions. You're going to pick a topic that we have covered, and you're going to write about that topic that we have discussed in those 4 chapters. And then you will respond to classmates for full discussion credit. So we got our discussion posts. Those are 15%. Your lecture quizzes total up to 20% of your overall course grade. The discussions are 15% of your course grade. Your exams are 40% at 10% apiece. So they're 40% total of your exam grade. And then your final exam is 25%. And all of these should calculate live, so you should be able to see how you're doing, what your class average is at any point in time in the semester. Also, I wanted to show y'all, since we're talking about grades, there might come a time where you're at midterm and you're deciding if if you can still make an A. Is it still possible to make an A at midterm? So you can go to your profile picture over here, and then there's something called progress. Click progress. And once you're in the progress menu, then you'll see three numbers. There'll be a max number, a average number, and then a minimum number. So average is your class average that you see at the final calculated grade. That's the same thing. So that's wherever you are at that moment in time in the class. But on the maximum is the highest you can get mathematically, because it's going to take all the grades that you haven't done yet and plug in a 100% on those grades. So mathematically, what is still possible, go to the max and look at that number. And that's what's mathematically still possible for this class. So I told y'all that this might be a difficult class, and maybe you're deciding, should I stay or should I go? That's where you can go, and you can determine, where I'm at. What can I still achieve in this class is the maximum, and the minimum number. Nobody wants to look at the minimum number. The minimum number puts a 0 in for all of the future assignments that you haven't done yet, so nobody wants to look at that one. But I just like to tell everybody that is true for all the classes at GHC. If they've got their grade book set up properly, you should be able to see this for all your classes. So I always like to tell students that, just in case they didn't know, that you can look at your class progress and look and see mathematically what you could still achieve as the maximum. Um, okay, so I think I covered everything. I'm sure I missed something. So if I did, please shoot me an email. Let me know. If you got any questions about anything else, please let me know. And if you want to book a time with me, please do book a time, and we can meet and discuss whatever you need. So let's have a great semester, and I hope to hear from y'all. Bye, guys.